Hi, everyone. Welcome to the SOAR COVID Cancer Online video series. This is episode 2. I'm Rahul Mathialakat, the CCO of SOAR.
And I'm Nina, the CFO of SOAR. The COVID and Cancer Online video series was created to talk about the issues surrounding COVID-19 and how it's changing the cancer space through conversations with cancer survivors, oncology nurses, and others working in cancer fields. We encourage everyone watching to donate to help us combat the economic effects of COVID-19 in the link below. All donations received up until August 15th will go directly to the Greater Houston COVID-19 Recovery Fund to aid those in need of food assistance, affordable childcare, and basic financial hardship caused by COVID-19.
Today, we're interviewing Jonny Imerman, the founder of Imerman Angels, in Close Talk. Imerman Angels is a 501c3 nonprofit organization which provides free, personalized one-on-one cancer support for cancer fighters, survivors, and caregivers. Hi, Jonny. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello, Rahul. Hello, Nina. Honored to be here. As we were talking before, you guys are awesome for all the good you do at a young age, taking the lead and wanting to help families with cancer and families affected by COVID. So rooting for both you guys. Keep up the good work and serving the community like you are.
Thank you, Jonny. It means a lot. So why don't we get started with you telling us about yourself and your story into creating Imerman Angels?
Yeah, so my quick story, I'm 44 now, but when I was a couple years out of college in the University of Michigan, grew up in Michigan, was diagnosed with cancer at 26 years old. This is really important. I had not been to a doctor in 5 years. I was ignorant. I didn't even know really that cancer hit young people at that time. And so my cancer had spread quite a bit. And all of a sudden at 26, I had pain in my left testicle. I get diagnosed with testicular cancer. We start chemo, we start surgeries, the better part of 2 years. And, at the very end of treatments, a group of young survivors and I finally met. Didn't know any survivors during it. I had a great family, best mom, great brothers, my best friend, all this support, but finally met survivors at the end. I always knew that it would have been nice to have met someone. And these survivors and I that met at the end, we all agreed that this is a broken part of the cancer journey, is that so many people fight and they're isolated. They're on an island. They feel like they don't know anyone else like them. And no one should feel that way towards any medical, life-threatening, scary thing. And so we created this nonprofit, Imerman Angels. It's a 501c3 since 2006, and it's aimed to solve that problem. So it's a one-to-one peer mentor program. So if somebody's diagnosed with cancer in Iowa, in Houston, in London, or in Ghana, anywhere in the world, we'll know someone. We have 11,000 survivors and a global network, and family members will choose the best person that's like your future you, that says, been there, done that, beat it. I'll walk you through the same fight. And these are all volunteers who are grateful. They're unpaid. They give their time and energy to help. And Imerman Angels is 9 full-time people who are paid. That's the nonprofit itself. The budget's about $1.8 million a year or so. It's based in Chicago. But all the volunteers who give back, we just manage the program. The volunteers who give back do this out of the goodness of their heart because they care and they're grateful that they survived, and they don't want to forget that there are others behind us who need our help now.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's such a great aspect that I think a lot of people don't even realize. I know I didn't for a very long time, was just that these fighters are trying to do it alone most of the time. And so the fact that you can connect them, give them a voice, give them an angel to kind of be able to understand and really ground them and, make these things a little bit more doable. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Rahul. It's like they're going through it. They're scared. It's the first time you're doing chemo, the first time someone's cutting into your body to take a tumor out, the first time you're doing radiation. It's sort of like COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how our body's going to react because none of us have ever done this stuff before.
Yeah.
So it's the same mentality, the fear of the unknown, the fear of something happening in our bodies that we don't know how it's going to react. That's when the mind can go against us sometimes, and the fear and the anxiety creeps in. And if that stress happens, what happens is that just lowers our immune system based on that stress physically is happening to our body from the mind to the physical. And we need our immune system to support us during cancer. You need the opposite. So it's so important. We do everything we can to support people mentally, making sure that they have answers and they know what they're doing, they're educated, and help them, get through this physical disease. But the mental piece is such a big part in how we survivors can coach, inspire, and motivate those that are fighting today.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, does a survivor and a current cancer fighter get matched? Do they have to be in the same city, or can they be very far away?
Nina, thanks for your question. They can be anywhere in the world. We've matched up people in Cyprus who have found us online. We have something called the Google Grant, which we get $10,000 of credits. They're like free keywords based on the work that we do is helping causes. So you can apply to Google. SOAR, by the way, if you haven't yet, definitely Google Grants and apply for a grant. They give them out and you just have to hit some criteria. And then you're that much higher on SEO, and you're going to pop up on Google. And so we've had people find us all over the world, or it's just a friend who lives in Cyprus of somebody that knows someone in America that we've served, and they get cancer and they find us. However they find us, that's our job, is to get the word out. But we can match that person in Cyprus with somebody who is living in Chicago who already beat the same thing. It's sort of this beautiful global one-on-one connection, sometimes across the world. And one thing we love about it is, you get people sometimes from different races, different religions, different cultures, different countries. Just people from all over the world. We're all different, but this common thread brings people together. And you have someone from that they may not never know ever in their life, but now they've met based on this common thread, cancer. And again, cancer does not discriminate. It affects everyone, any age, any race, any religion. And so we've built Imerman Angels with that mentality. We help every human being that's out there. And we love how sometimes it brings people together in a blended way that might not ever meet before. And it's sort of a connector in that way, which we love.
So if it has already been mostly virtual, the connections happen virtually, has COVID-19 changed anything?
Yeah, so a lot of the connections are virtual, and they can be through Zoom and they can through Google Meet, texting. Sometimes we'll have an older person who doesn't really use tech, and they're in their 80s with breast cancer, and we find someone who's 88 who beat the same breast cancer, and the two of them just write letters back and forth. So even snail mail works. We're very open how they want to connect. It's really up to them, but we make sure that they're connected. And then really the person that needs support is usually the one that decides, how I want to interact. Sometimes someone says, I just want to email. I don't really not comfortable talking about it out loud. Cancer is just so scary and traumatic. I just want to email with you. That's fine too. And the survivors like myself, we just adapt to whatever the needs of the person are. But virtual is good. In person is good too. As we go from 11, we're blessed to be the largest group in the world that we know globally for one-on-one support. But when we go from 11,000 mentors now, so hopefully one day we'll be 11 million. Sadly, there's so many, they're out there. There's already more than 11 million. I think in the US, there's 14.5 million survivors. So technically just in the US, we could even have that many. But when we're that big and we continue to grow every year, we're always recruiting mentors, then we really could hook you up with somebody. If you're in Seattle or a small town in North Dakota or a small town in Canada, we might know someone in your same neighborhood because our pool and our network is that much bigger. And that's why we're always encouraging every survivor or every mentor caregiver who wants to share their story as a spouse or a parent of someone with cancer to join us, to become an angel, be a mentor, because we're better at helping people if the network is bigger. It's the epitome of how teamwork can really make a difference. Because we don't know which person's going to be on call today at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Like, we don't know, right? Like, it could be somebody who gets diagnosed in Texas and they have this rare cancer, and we have to look at our network right away and see, okay, who is the best of our whole team? And tomorrow it could be someone else, to somebody else with that cancer. So that's why the network makes us powerful. No one person could ever do this, right? We all work together to make a movement.
That makes sense. All right, shifting away from, I guess, the mentors, I mean, not really away from anything. How has COVID affected you and your team specifically? You said the 9 of you based in Chicago that work together. How has shifting to a virtual workplace affected you guys? Is it for the better, for the worse?
So that's a great, and I know, Nina, you asked that. I didn't answer that fully. I'm sorry. So the answer to that question is actually the transition has been amazing. We, have an office in Chicago. It's about 4,500 square feet. It's right downtown in the Loop. And we were always thinking, it's great to have the team together. We have one area where all of our programs team, which is about half the team, are on calls, on Zooms, helping people match, training new mentors and survivors. But we always thought, like, if everyone worked from home, all 9 people take public transportation. So, like, if they're at home, could they do this? And it's actually been an amazing pivot. We are helping the same number of people, thousands, than we were before, or more than we were before. Thousands. We're on pace to still help thousands of people this year. It is not changing that. If anything, we might even be higher. And maybe we're noticing some of our team are a little happier because they just don't have to commute. You're not on a train, you're not on a bus. And a lot of this can be done from home. So we're learning as we go. I think sometimes when you put constraints on a mission, it forces you to be creative. And we wouldn't have probably pulled this trigger to try it without COVID, but it's forced us to. And we're learning that things are working almost flawlessly, almost better than we could have possibly imagined.
That's awesome. That's really great. That's good. Okay. So we've talked about Imerman Angels. We also know about your company Clothes Talk, where you guys create clothing for nonprofit organizations, and you sell it for them free of charge. Can you talk a little bit about that? How you shifted from Imerman Angels into that? What kind of started that? What inspired that?
Absolutely. So we created Imerman Angels as this team, and we really got the Close Talk idea directly from Imerman Angels. So after my own treatments, sorry about the dogs, everybody. Those are my mom's in Michigan. Hey guys, Bella. Sorry everybody. So this is the new home work-life balance, right? It's like you got babies running around, some of my Zoom calls, you got kids, you got dogs. It's like, oh, you see everything, right? Teaches us all to roll with it. So thanks for being flexible with that. So basically we got the idea, guys, directly from Imerman Angels, which I moved to Chicago from the trauma of the cancer, wanted to get a fresh start of life. I couldn't believe I was alive, to be honest, after the 2 years of treatments, and was so grateful. And in Chicago, we realized we got to get the word out. Like, how do we reach more survivors? We're only a handful of survivors, and we know there's millions out there. But we could be walking down the street right next to one, and they don't even know who we are, and they're not involved, and they could be. And how do we close that gap? So we came up with the idea, let's make t-shirts of Imerman Angels. Let's make our swag high quality. Let's figure out how to get our friends to wear them in sort of a grassroots, grinded out model that'll spread the word. The logo will get out. People will ask, spark conversations. We'll reach more survivors. We'll recruit them, train them, and then we'll help more people. So awareness to impact was our goal. And we tried every color combination you can imagine, from reds to yellows to greens. We did all sizes of the logo, typical mistakes nonprofits make. It's not their fault, but marketing branding is typically second to what should be first, which is their mission. That's why the causes, just like SOAR, are there. You're great at your service, as you should be, but branding and marketing oftentimes doesn't get done well for a lot of reasons. And so we came up with, let's figure out how to make these shirts cool. We messed it up for years. We finally realized all people really wanted was simple, classic logo, Imerman Angels on the shirt. We put on a 7x7 inch spread, a little smaller than the typical 9x9, maybe a little more cool, not as like billboardy, but still easy to read. And we also, from the back, we dropped all the company sponsors, no tagline, one-on-one cancer support, no URLs, less is more. And we put it on an American We started using American Apparel back in the day, but now we actually use Next Level, which is another LA-based American brand t-shirt. Very high quality, very comfortable, lasts a long time. People like it. And all of a sudden, our friends were like, okay, guys, you figured out a cool Imerman Angels t-shirt. Finally, we'll wear that at the gym 3 days this week. Or we'll wear that going on a walk with the dog. Or I work at WeWork and I'll rock the Imerman Angels logo while I work all day. And lo and behold, all these conversations started to spark in downtown Chicago. People started to ask, I keep seeing that logo. What is Imerman Angels? And the conversation spread to survivors. It also spread to doctors who send us their patients. It spread to people that were sick. It spread to people who volunteered. It gave us everything we needed, that awareness, but it definitely started to drive our mission. And today, over 11,000 mentors. That's how we got the buzz out. So that idea, we said, this is scalable. Let's take the same idea that worked for one nonprofit and make it work for all. And let's help them all. But we want it to be free. We don't want $1 from the nonprofits, nothing required. They don't have to promote us. They don't have to give us time. They don't have to give us energy. We want them to focus on their service and solving real social problems. And we're going to get their apparel out there. So we created this website. It's called closetalk.com, C-L-O-Z, talk.com, like the close, talk for a good cause. And on it, we have over 220 501c nonprofits, all vetted, all in good standing with the government, but also vetted by us that their missions are clear, focused, and truly make the world better. They solve a problem or save animals, whatever they do, stop poaching in Africa, whatever their mission is, it's important, and we want to see it do more. We want to help them grow. So we came up with this website, and think of it like an online directory, everyone, where you can go to closetalk.com and you can click on any of 22 boxes. There are categories of nonprofits, from animal nonprofits to helping the homeless, helping with food insecurity, criminal justice, which is such a huge one, should always be, but especially now. Healthcare and wellness is on there as well. So anyone can click on a category, and then you're going to see a list of those causes in there. You can click on one. Let's say you click on Big Brothers Big Sisters, which is one of ours we support. And on one side of the page is the mission and a video and 5 bullet points. Why should I care about this cause? Why is it important? Why does it make the world better? And on the other side of the page, we designed with their logo a 17-item online shopping store for one-off on-demand apparel, from hats to t-shirts to track jackets to hoodies to polos, tank tops, kids stuff, the best-in-class brands that we have figured out for each individual item, 17 items total, and then we sell them black and white and gray and white. And then ultimately what we do, so we're building this network first. We're looking for the best nonprofits out there who should be on our platform, so we can grow this to thousands of causes across the US, where anyone for free can go on and learn about missions. And then ultimately the next step, which we call phase 2, is to go to companies who are going to support them. And really what that means is we go to a Deloitte, or we go to a Google, or we go to a Walgreens, these companies where we have relationships, and we say, hey, Deloitte Chicago office alone, you have 6,000 employees. Why don't you spend $20 per employee? They're your most important resource, are your people, as it is with every company. $20 a head. It's like buying them a lunch. These companies do this all the time, not that much. And support them to get a t-shirt. And we'll give every employee a digital coupon. And every employee at Deloitte goes onto our website. They read about all these great missions. They get educated. They pick the cause that speaks to them the most, the one meaningful to them individually. Then we quick turn around and make them that t-shirt. And then once a month, what we do is at Deloitte, there's a once a month nonprofit Friday. Everyone's rocking their individual favorite cause. They're spreading the word for it. They're talking about it with their coworkers. At the same time, they're connecting at a deeper level. Yeah. Why you choose a particular cause speaks so much of who we all are. Just like me wearing Imerman Angels, but it's going to come up that I'm a cancer survivor from my 20s. Other people may not know that in the office. And that's how we connect. It's through our vulnerability. It opens us up. Why we care about a cause speaks to so much of who we are. So we help the companies bond their employees, and we help them sort of engage in a deeper level, and they're going to be more productive. They're going to be happier, more compassionate to each other, and do better work together. So it adds value to the company, but at the same time, it helps us accomplish a mission, which is help our nonprofits get their logos on more bodies, recruit supporters, recruit ambassadors. We hope all boats rise, all the nonprofits get picked, and we roll this out across the country, company by company by company, that this becomes an industry norm.
No, I think that's a great idea. I think it's very creative, and I like how y'all focused on keeping it simple, because I think that's also very important, because that's what people are gonna want to see and what their eyes attracted to, and it's like, looks good. I was just wondering, with COVID and everything going on, were the shipments affected in any way in production for the clothing?
Thanks for the question. Because our production fulfillment company, which is in Milwaukee, it's a woman-owned, minority-owned business, Tyra Hammett. It's called Promolux. We've worked with her for 15 years. She's amazing. Because she also does masks, and she also does other apparel for hospitals, she was deemed essential. So because that's our production fulfillment, we never stopped during all this. So she was there working anyway, and she continued to run some of the orders for us as well. Yeah, her company didn't stop, and we didn't stop either, and we could work from home. And I'm so sorry. I'm going to plug in here because I notice I'm going to lose you guys in 1 minute, but you can ask me a question. I can hear you while I'm plugging in. All right, first the dogs, and now we got laptop battery issues. Okay, we're back. Go ahead, guys.
No, yeah, we wanted to just bring up that because of the, fundamental differences with Closed Talk and Imerman Angels would, benefit from the virtual people being home more, having more time, being able to do that one-to-one connections, and Closed Talk being a little bit different in that, is a physical product and you had to do the production and shipment. And so very interesting to know that because you guys are supporting a small woman-owned minority business, and she's already an essential worker, that you guys are able to keep it going with that.
Yeah, we were very lucky that she could keep going. And, sometimes the nonprofits wanted and still do want to get them and then wear them on their Zoom calls. And the more they wear them on Zoom calls, sometimes it can be a way where they can start the conversations in a business meeting. I mean, we hope one day that's part of our mission, that like if we're in this for a long time and people are doing Zooms for a long time, that when you do a business meeting, if everybody is at home anyway, and you're not really able to get dressed up, it's sure. And before you even talk about business, it's like, well, I just want to chat with you. Like, what's your favorite cause and what's yours? And it's the same thing that you might do in a company, but you can do it individually in a group Zoom or an individual Zoom to really get to know people. We think it's just a great way to get them to open up. Some people call it icebreakers, that we've come up with this idea that's like an icebreaker in the office or icebreaker on business meetings. But one thing's for sure, that it brings people together, and every one of our missions is positive, that no matter where your views are politically right now, as we all know, we're way too divided, but we all agree that helping children that can't get food because their parents don't have jobs, helping those parents find jobs, that these missions are all positive and important. And I think everybody wants that. So hopefully we found a way to bring common ground, to bring everyone together in this community.
Well, thank you, Jonny. This has been great. I think we've learned a lot about you and your two organizations and how they've been affected by COVID, most importantly. And it seems like things have been going great because you've already come at a lot of this with a virtual approach, trying to get everyone connected as seamlessly as possible. And so there hasn't been too much of a bumpy road through COVID.
Thank you. There really hasn't been for us. And with either one, with Imerman Angels, the nonprofit side, and the social impact side with Closed Talk, we have pivoted. We're very lucky that we can really work from home. We feel for those families who really struggle. and have lost their jobs or can't find a job because their jobs were in restaurants or hospitality or hotels or the travel industry. We feel for all those families, and hopefully a lot of the causes that we support on Close Talk, as we help them grow, they can also solve some of those job problems as well. A lot of the causes that we promote do help people to find jobs, and especially now more than ever, some of these can be virtual jobs, and people can really support their families and make sure their kids can get the food that they need.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, well, thank you. I guess that
Thank
is 3 minutes. So
Thank you guys very much for having me again. Hats off to you guys for taking the time and energy to do good in the world when, and especially when you're younger, and it's so much more fun to go out and to do things and be around friends or play tennis like you do and in college tennis. And, life pulls us in a lot of ways. You have school, but to carve out time at a young age, I think is such a beautiful thing. Cancer taught me that lesson at 26. And I left the corporate world completely. I've been in social impact for almost 20 years now. And it's a happier life, I feel. Everyone's different, but, whether you're volunteering or whether you're working in a full-time, it doesn't matter. But as long as something of your life every week or every day is helping people outside yourself and being aware of that, I think is a much happier life. And it's really living a life that's why we're here on the planet. So you guys are living it. You guys know this. You're doing it already at a young age, and it's wonderful. You're setting a great example for your friends as well.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, just to finish off, so the links to the donor box, which will be donated to the Houston COVID-19 Relief Aid Fund, that will be in the description, as well as the links to Imerman Angel and Close Talk. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something. I know we sure did. So thanks, Jonny.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.